We want everyone to have the best experience possible at this year's Polymer Summit. This is an inclusive community. No matter your experience or background, you're welcome here. We encourage you to be excellent to each other by saying hi to new faces, building on one another's ideas, and reporting any uncomfortable experiences. We have a zero-tolerance policy for harassment of any kind. This policy is posted on large signs around the venue, and our full community guidelines are on the event website. Please share your positive and constructive feedback with staff and speakers. Staff and speakers can be identified by their staff or speaker badges or shirts. Let's make this the best developer event ever by creating an excellent experience at this year's Polymer Summit. Thanks.
Hello, and welcome to day 2 of our Polymer Summit. So we've got a bunch of really awesome speakers here for day 2. And to start off is 2 of my oldest friends in this industry. I've worked with Ben and Dion for about 10 years now across 3 different companies, just the latest being Google. And I'm such old friends with them, you saw they let me write their abstract for this talk, which if you notice, they're going to do some interpretive dance. So definitely pay attention near the end when Dion lifts Ben over his head and twirls him around. It's really spectacular. So with that, I'd like to welcome onto the stage
is, I think, the gold standard for on first load. But here's the unbundled version using Polymer 2 and ES6. It's exactly the same functionality, but it's 60K smaller. What changed? Well, it's able to use the custom Elements 1 APIs, and we're able to serve just the things that this browser can support. For users on slow connections and flaky networks, this is huge. Shop was fast already, but every kilobyte we lean on the platform for instead of sending down the wire really pays us back, and it pays us back in terms of reach over the next few years. Polymer is converting on the promise of we believed in back when we started the parkour project, but in a context that we just didn't see coming. Web components, it turned out, were the answer to a problem we didn't know to ask. When Darren and Alex and Matt and the rest of us all bet on this effort back in 2010 and 2011, ES6 and web components were sort of something we just were going to figure out, something that we kind of knew were going to be important, but we didn't understand why. But we got lucky, again. When we started ripping elements out of Gmail, we didn't know that it was going to make anything faster. Turned out it did. When we started upgrading the platform, we knew it would make it nicer to use, but we didn't know how much faster it could make things. But now we know. We're in a special moment right now. Smartphones are opening up computing to people who've never had access to them before. And the web, I believe, can be the single best way to deliver experiences to those users if we don't drown it in JavaScript. The web's evolution is freeing us up to attack new and harder problems further up the stack. That's great news for us as developers, but it's mostly great news for our users if we use the platform. Thanks for having me, and thanks for making your sites fast and small.
Thank you, Alex. All right, so we're ready for our morning break. I just have a couple quick announcements. So there will be food and refreshments across the way. Just a reminder, there's the Ask Polymer Lounge where you can get your questions answered. That is staffed right now. And we'll be back here at 11:30. All right, welcome back. Just have one quick announcement. We're going to be doing a panel later on. This is everyone's favorite chance to put us on the spot. Give extra hard questions this year because I'm not going to be on it or moderating it. In order to put a question on, we'll have microphones here, but also if you have any questions you think of in the meantime, tweet them at #AskPolymer. That way it doesn't get confused with the other summit stuff. So as you can tell, we're big into use the platform. A lot of times that gets misconstrued online. If you really want to know what it means to us on the Polymer team, if you go to polymerproject.org/about, we've got a nice article there about it and what it means to us. To find out what the web platform means and how it's made, please welcome to the stage Mariko.
Thank you, Matt. Hi, Mariko. This is my Twitter handle and GitHub and pretty much everybody on the internet. I am from Web Developer Relations at Google, but it's a really new job for me. I joined about 5 months ago. I was a web developer before that, so it's kind of like a new field for me right now. So the events like this are great. Not only I get to meet you all who use the platform, but also I get to meet the team behind the people who's building, and a lot of people who works on the clone and stuff. So, I go to people.
For large development teams that are using a lot of different frameworks and build chains, using Stencil and using web components, they can share components like your team has a branded button or a specific thing that has to be in every single app. Instead of duplicating that every time, you can just share the components with everyone. And then finally, for app developers, we all want faster mobile and desktop apps, right? So this can help us get it. So how is this different from current solutions? I think the biggest difference is that it's a compiler, not a runtime solution. So we do all the work during the build step. It's just a simple npm install. There's no CLI. It's just a npm script for your app. And this just generates a set of optimized custom elements. So there's nothing stencil in the final output. We keep saying that, but I just want to really drive it home. There's no window.stencil. It doesn't exist. It's just your components. And this complements all frameworks because we really don't want to discourage anyone from using React or Vue. If you like it, that's great. We kind of have taken a step back and saying, we don't really care what you want to use anymore. We're done fighting that battle. We're just going to create custom elements. You can use them if you want. But if you want to explore this brave new world where you don't use a traditional framework, you just use web components, we support that too. And we're actually really, really excited about that. #use the platform. And it's a small footprint. There's very little Vue code here. There's no CLI. And then finally, this is going back to kind of preferences. We've built this on TypeScript. TypeScript has let us get a lot of rich typing metadata that we actually use for the tool. But as a company, we've really embraced TypeScript. We feel like enterprise usage is really, really accelerating on TypeScript. So we base it on TypeScript. We love it. But if you don't, then maybe this is a point of disagreement. So what's next with Stencil? Our Stencil-created components are going to go live in hundreds of thousands, hopefully, of Ionic apps. Who knows? This might be the biggest distribution of web components in the app stores in short order, so we're really excited about that. We're going to begin seeking some feedback on an experimental Ionic with Stencil starter instead of just Ionic with Angular or a typical framework. And based on the feedback, we might integrate that more deeply into our tooling. So this is still experimental. We're not really sure how people will like it. We need better state management, a la something like Redux. So we're working on something like that. Trying to make it easy to import third-party modules, looking at maybe literal templates like lit-HTML beyond JSX. Because we're just a compiler, it's pretty easy to swap that out, but we've just decided to go with JSX today. And then we're going to submit our HNPWA, which we're really excited about.
Yeah, so we're really, again, this is something we built for ourselves, but we're really proud, to show this off and, get some feedback of what you guys would think, or what the community thinks. And so we have it up on our GitHub, and we have a couple demos out there. They include the Fiber demo and the Hacker News demo. So we've blabbled enough about this, but one thing I want to say is take a look for yourself. So take a look at this Hacker News app and do the traces yourself. Look at the file sizes. Look at how fast the time to interactive is. And just take a look, and you'll see that it rivals the best PWAs out there right now. And so we're really, really proud of it. And on top of that, it's built from a component of libraries. It's not just a bunch of divs that have different background colors and stuff and just switching out divs. This is an actual, legitimate, large-scale application that has modals and alerts, popovers, all the different things that you want in an application, but it also loads just as fast as any other of the fastest PWAs right now. So please, we encourage you to take a look, and we're really proud of what we have so far.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So some of you may have noticed it took us a little while this summer to get the schedule out for this. One of the last pieces on the last day we were trying to get it up, we were like, we asked the Ionic guys if they wanted to do a presentation at Polymer Summit, and they got really excited about it, and Dion had sent them an email, and we were asking for the abstract and bios and all that so we can put it up. And it finally and Dion sent an introduction email with us and them, and we were talking to them, and they kept tweeting about it, that they were very, very excited. But then we weren't hearing back about bios and the abstract. So finally we put together on the very last day, we had the email, Dion had the email wrong. So the entire time we weren't actually communicating, and apparently ionic.com is some other thing, and they weren't even replying to us. So luckily we got all that figured out at the very last second. So it's lunchtime, just a few announcements. Just like yesterday, halal and kosher meals are available at a station over there. If you can't find them, ask a staff member. There's a code lab starting in 15 minutes. It's a really cool one. It's purple with Firebase and custom elements with Keanu in the code lab area. And we'll be back here at 1:30 or 13:30 if you're not a silly American like me. See you in a little bit.
Hey, everybody. Let's see. Our next set of talks are going to be shedding some light on some mysterious black box stuff. Much like Schrödinger's cat in the box, we're going to reveal the true state of things. Speaking of which, anyone know what Schrödinger's favorite input type is? Checkbox. Okay, so our next speaker is also my manager, so if you give him a big round of applause, I can use that in my performance review. Gray Norton.
Find out more about modules. And that's it.
Thank you, Sam. All right, guys, we made it to the break. We've got about half an hour before our next big event, which you are not going to want to miss. So please go fill yourselves with caffeine and carbohydrates. Get that in your bloodstream, and come back here for 4 o'clock for Supercharged Live, Live, Live. Ask Polymer with any questions.
How's it going? So, starting my comedy bit. So, what is Forrest Gump's favorite password? One, Forrest, one. What's a computer's favorite rhythm? An algorithm. Tell me a programming joke.
What's a computer's favorite beat? An algorithm.
Well, up next, I don't know if you've seen Supercharged before, but you may remember this duo from the last Polymer Summit and their hit YouTube series, Supercharged. We have Surma and Paul Lewis.
Hello, hello, hello. Actually, the late Paul Lewis is now in the cloud doing machine learning. Pour one out for Paul Lewis. So here I am.
Hello, Copenhagen. So I saw this bit recently and I really wanted to try it on stage. So
yeah, people on the team know that the thing I care about sort of the most is performance. And I think I've said this before, but I think with custom elements we have an opportunity to add things to the browser that makes it faster, makes us able to do things in custom ways faster. I care about this for a couple reasons. Obviously, I want things to be faster so that we can all make stuff that's awesome and better for users. But there's another reason. And you heard yesterday in Alex Russell's talk, he talked a lot about mobile CPUs. Now, he only talked about that for like 5 minutes, but he works in the same office as us, and we have to hear him talk about that for like hours and hours and hours and hours. And I would like to have things faster so I don't have to hear that venting very much anymore.
Alex, he's joking. We love you. Please talk to us.
All right, great. So Matt's going to come on in a second with some closing remarks and some very important announcements, so please be sure to stick around. But thank you so much for the panel.
And thank you.
All right, so we have an odd tradition, apparently, in these Polymer Summits. So if any of you were here last time in London, you may recall that a few people joined us with just about an hour to go after going through a pretty crazy, hellish airport experience for a couple of days. So this year, we've managed to do something even better, and a few people showed up, 2 of them in fact, just about an hour ago on a sailboat from Germany, just to join the last hour. So I want to give them a brief hand. And not to repeat Taylor too much, but first I want to just say, thank you very much. This means very, very much to us as a team. This is the highlight of our year. It's turned into that. We were, the first Polymer Summit we did 2 years ago, actually. We had never actually put on a developer event before. We've got an experienced team that helps us and makes us look all slick and professional, but we had never done it. And now it's really the highlight of our year, and it's what we plan around, and it really means a lot to us. So it means a lot that you're here. It means a lot that more people were at this one than ever before, despite the fact that we're in summer, and the fact that we're in Copenhagen's a little further away for some people. So that's really, really, really awesome. So just a few things. So one, I want to give a huge thank you to the speakers and the staff. We're going to do a little bit of a camera work with this one, so if we can do an extended cheer, that would be great. So let's give everyone a big hand. Thank you very much. So we have 2 different events we need to tell you about in just 2 weeks. On the 5th and 6th of September in Krakow, there's a Google Developer Days. Look that up on your favorite search engine. Hopefully it's Google. Tickets are still available. And then starting exactly 2 months from today, on October 23rd and 24th, we're going to have the 5th annual Chrome Dev Summit. We'll be there. It's back home in San Francisco. Tickets are available on August 30th. You're the first to hear that. So definitely show up and see us there. We'll be there. We'll be doing some talks, and a lot of the other people, including our Polymer Home, Google Home, will be there as well in person. So just 2 last things. One is the survey that you got in your email just a few minutes ago is really, really important to us. We take it incredibly seriously, hence the wider chairs, hence the more bathrooms, but even the content. I actually personally read every single response we get, and so do a number of other people. So it's really important. If you can fill that out, that's great for us. It helps us improve these events going forward. And then the last is one of the other odd traditions we have. The very first Polymer Summit, we ended up giving away a lot of the bean bags and pillows and everything else, and people started tweeting them going home. And someone tweeted a picture of a Polymer Summit bean bag going around like a luggage carousel at an airport. So we give these away each time. If you want a pillow or anything, I think there's only a couple bean bags left already because people have already figured this out. They're at the swag table. And that's it. Thank you very much. Hope to see you next time.
Polymer 2017 in the books.
Done and clapped with.
Why don't we recap a little bit, what did we do over the last 48 hours?
We announced Polymer 3.
Big announcement there. NPM support.
And ES6 modules, and thus closing the longest running issue in GitHub Polymer history.
Yes. There was RenderTron for SEO and robot battles.
And LibHTML. We had some code labs, and they were always filled with people.
Yes, very cool people at the code labs, very cool people in the Ask Polymer Lounge. We also had some partners come. YouTube team came, there was Electronic Arts talking about building web components at scale. There was Netflix, there was Simpla CMS, there was Ionic talking about Stencil.js.
We had me, we had you.
Met some cool people at the after party.
Did you dance?
On the inside. Copenhagen is a pretty cool town. I liked it here. We saw some bikes. We saw the harbor.
We had hot dogs.
Yeah, dude, the food in Denmark is pretty delish. All in all, Polymer 2017, I feel like this was a pretty great summit.